Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, DPalm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. Follow the entire MTR network at, you guessed it, the MTR network. You found us. Don't you dare lose us. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcast for free $99. I've heard the cries about Character Corner and other nerdy things. We are working on it. Life is happening. Y'all, I'm happy to do the sports. I need other people to help me with the nerdy stuff. Trust me, we are working on it. Keep sending the emails, keep sending the tweets. We see them. I get texts from people who see them if I don't see them. So recognize that I understand the desire. It's coming. But right now, you're getting your sporty sports. Right now, this is brought to you by Daniel Palmer Mortgages. If you can pay your rent, you can pay a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. Episode 9 of Life, Love, and Real Estate is out. Make sure you check that out. Support everything that we do because we support you guys. And we are back into the week. Mike Felder's here. What's up, Felder?
Man, I had they're saying I've had a week and a day.
Yes, sir.
I mean, day not done yet.
Day's not over. Day's not over.
I still got a swim meet.
It's that time of year, brother. I got to tell you something. I seen that video of Matthew in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, he's too much of a, he's already a water baby. Like, I see swimming pools in my future, and I don't like it.
Yeah, well, I see swimming pools in my present. Okay? In my present.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Mine is a future discomfort. Yours is a current problem.
It's like literally like we got it. Do you know what time they expected? They expect my 7-year-old to do her last race. I'm gonna give you a.
What time does the meet start?
Meet starts at 6.
Oh, that's 8:30, 9 o'clock last swim, baby.
9:32.
9:30. Okay, I feel good. Yep, I feel good. They'll have the grill going. People are going to be fed during the meet, but you are going to be sitting in that stance.
No, I got to help. I got to work because I can't.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, that'll help the time move faster because you're not just sitting there.
Well, it's just like mad boring, like honestly.
Well, yeah.
Like it's because I talked to, so we had field day today. So that's how I started my day.
So for the listeners who aren't as close to child rearing age or further away from high school and child age, let us know what does field day entail at Savannah School?
We had to do it inside, first of all, because it was pouring rain.
Ooh, first hurdle, big hurdle.
Me and another dad, like 2 weeks ago, were like, I was like, I'm doing tug of war.
And he was like, I want to do tug of war with you because I don't.
Oh, something just happened with your sound where now it got, I don't know if it kicks back in or like you're wild loud now, but I don't know what just happened there.
It got louder again?
It got super loud.
Okay, hang on. Let me dial this down. How's that? Is that better?
It's the same. Keep talking.
So, this dad and I did tug of war last year.
You're back. You're locked in.
I did tug of war last year. He
Okay.
did limbo.
Oh.
He's like, for 3 hours, I'm just doing this. And saying how low can you go? He's like, it sucked. He's like, he's like, let's do this. So this is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is 2 40-something men and I'm like, I'm doing tug of war again. He's like, all right, let's do tug of war together. And then we can just like, that's what we do. We do tug of war. And we did tug of war. And according to my daughter, according to some of her friends, best station.
Oh.
Yeah,
not
dog.
It's a competition, but it's kind of a competition.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Okay, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, dog. Our station was the tightest. Our station was the coolest. 2 cool dads.
Can't beat it.
2 cool dads. Like, and the way that we talk to kids is so different than the way that like the teachers and the other, like the moms talk to them. It's yeah,
for sure.
Like it starts out pretty authoritative. Don't touch my rope. Hey, that's my rope. Don't touch that. Don't pick it up. No, you get over here. I need y'all to line up. Water bottles go right here. It's like we ran it like the military. And then they got buck wild and we did like, it was like, you're 1, you're here, you're a 2, you're here, you're a 1, you're here, you're a 2, you're here, we did that. And then we did boys versus girls. And I can tell you something, man. There's way more girls at that school than
I was
boys.
about to say that age group, like it feels like the girls might have it.
There's more of them, and they are stronger.
Yeah, at that age, they are more attuned with their bodies and more athletic, faster.
Dude, there was one girl there. So there was a class that came in, and they had two girls that were straight buck. Like one girl was the anchor, and the other girl was the lead. And the lead was just pulling boys across to the point where me and the dad were like, we're gonna have to help these young men because they are getting demolished.
They're getting worked.
They got worked so hard, and I have no idea. Like, I was like, yo, y'all got to do some push-ups. I don't know what the PE teacher is doing with y'all, but y'all got to do some push-ups, like calisthenics.
HGH, baby.
Like it was wild. So that kicks off at like 7. We get there at 7:30. I'm there from 7:30 till 11. I'm doing this show. Then at 5:30, I got to be at the pool. I got my clipboards. And then that's going to go, like I said, 9:30. So last race goes around 10. I'll be there the whole time. So we definitely are eating at the pool. That's a non-negotiable.
Oh yeah, that is a snack bar evening right there.
Yeah, man. So that's what's going on with me. I'm also in the middle of trying to write this Talking Tears newsletter for It's Felder on Substack. Mostly because I do think as we enter 2025 this season, like the tiers of teams are very interesting.
Yes. I think I've yet to start doing any CFB prep. I need to get out of NBA finals first.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I am going to.
Do you know who plays for who?
That's it. I need to. I'm starting from square zero. Like I try to start. So I start so just so you know how I handle sports because I'm a nerd and a weirdo. Once basketball and hockey end, I don't watch baseball. I don't.
I love it.
I don't. And so my sports loving energy goes to let's figure out Georgia, and then it expands to the SEC East and the SEC. And by August and like mid August, I'm ready to have a confident conversation about most teams.
Yeah, no, look. Everybody has their own process, and for me, the process is like I just slowly accumulate information, and the first thing that I try to do is look at who should like I want to identify paper tigers, actual tigers, and then like true like Siberian tigers. So I start
the true contender class,
right? And I think it's Georgia, Ohio State, and Notre Dame is flirting with it. And then we get to like Penn State, Alabama, and all the like. It's a very like you have to go through it. And then the other thing that I try to do, because this is what I model my game. I have two paths. I model my game for what people are going to want to ask me about on radio or on TV.
Right on.
Quarterbacks, right? Returning starters, okay.
Known quantities, if you will.
Yes, and then the other thing that I like to do is I like to look at secondaries.
Look, we are all who we are. I look at lines. Like I look at who's returning whom. I look who our yards per carry last year. That's kind of how I start looking at teams too. We all have our own lenses.
Yeah, you got to go.
Ask me shit, so I don't have to look at quarterbacks. So I can just do what I want.
But so I know you haven't started, but
yeah,
what quarterbacks do we know anything about for real?
I know that they like this Gunner kid. That the players seem to like Gunner.
No, the players like Gunner. Gunner again. I like Gunner.
I like Gunner from the flashes I've seen. I like Gunner.
We've seen it right. Flashes with Arch, right?
Yes.
Flashes
with Arch.
Flashes with Drew Aller. Flashes.
Yes, there have been flashes. I'll give you flashes.
The only two quarterbacks we know a lot about are in the state of South Carolina. Sellers and Cade Klubnik. That's it. That's it.
And you're higher on Cade Klubnik than I have always been.
That's fine.
But this is where my boring July of watching old Clemson games is going to come in handy.
But the thing for me is it's not even if he's better or worse. I know who he is. And I guess I could put Drew Aller in there, and I guess I just would say I know I don't like him. I would take Cade and Sellers over Drew Aller every day,
Okay. Me too.
every single day. And then we're going to see what we get out of Oklahoma, and we're going to see what we get out of USC and UCLA, because UCLA's got Nico Iamaleava coming in. And I mean, you want to talk about the fun? I wrote about it in the Substack. You want to talk about someone shooting their shot and getting like fully? You remember that Sprite commercial from the 90s when that man was like, "I'm gonna go get this dunk," and it was like, wrong.
You couldn't have been wronger. Couldn't have been wronger.
Got hung fully.
I had someone use Nico as a example as to why NIL was bad, and I was like, that's the wrongest. That's that. They set me up to have the conversation of like, you're taking a wrong-headed approach towards this.
Right.
There's no guarantee of any outcomes. What you've allowed is the freedom for the kids to take the shot.
Yeah, take a shot.
There's going to be we're in that period where things are new still. There's going to be corrective actions. There's going to be mistakes made. You're going to see things go on. But like, I don't begrudge Nico the opportunity to say I think I'm worth more, and he'd be proven wrong if he is.
Right. Sure. If we get proven wrong and he was worth more, good for UCLA. Right.
Good luck. Yes, great for UCLA.
Good for him. Good for UCLA. So no problem. It's at some point, and I agree with you on course correction. You can't just give. It's I think about it like a relationship, right? Right. You can't just give, pour into your partner, and your partner give nothing back to you. So you have to make a decision of what you're going to do. That's not how it works. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I am Miller Moss. What do we know about him? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like even like the big question for me is Arch. Like, is the pedigree there? Yes. Is the talent hot tie in there? Yes. However, for Sark to look him in the eye and say, "I don't trust you. I'm gonna trust this Quinn Ewers dude," over and over and over again, for him to throw him in the Georgia fire, get his head kicked in, and then never trust him again that season. That for me, that's the lens with which I'm going into the Arch situation. I'm like, why didn't we trust you last year?
I'm on the opposite side.
Okay.
I feel like this is Tua Hurts, and they wanted him, but they committed to Ewers, and so they wrote it out. But guess you know what Ewers did? He went and became a 7th round draft pick.
You know, because he got his money while he could. He
got but what
he was never going to get paid in the NFL.
Well, that's what I'm saying is he got chased out of there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I know you're a hunter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, when you're on one, you're on one. And I think Arch is on one. And that deer, that rabbit, they're gonna run up. They are running.
All I'm saying is him, the half the series and a half of the Georgia game made me ask a lot of questions that I did not feel have been answered in the offseason.
For sure. But he also had no experience. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. But guess what he still doesn't have?
Experience. That's why he's not on my list of guys that we know anything about. That's my point.
Fair enough.
That's my point. So we'll see what happens. What do you brought me on? What do you want to talk about?
I want to eat up some of your free space. Because this week my life changed. This week, for the first time since Matthew was born, Susan took an out-of-town trip for work. So for 2 days, this me and little man, what's it going to be? Dog, first of all, single parent, you're all stronger than me. All of you. Everyone. You think you're doing poorly, you think you're doing great, you're a stronger person than I could ever be. Tip of the cap. God bless you. Felder, by the time this little man went to sleep at night, your boy was exhausted. And I was good. Like we did, I always do pickup. So pickup to hanging out. We did some drawing in the bed. We played. We ate dinner together, got in the bath, all the fun stuff. And honestly, we were cool the first night. The second day is when he looked up at the screen and was like, "Mama?" And I was like, "That's a good point, man. You haven't seen her in a while. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you she's coming anytime soon. But I need to distract you." So I'd be like, I distract him, get off the mama train. But like, it was one of those things where, yeah, man, it takes two for me, for your boy. It takes two. I was very happy. Look, I called it Camp Dad. He got to hang out with Camp Dad for 2 days.
Nice.
And we had a ball. Like we had such a good time. But I will be very honest. It was very exhausting between like just work and life. It's just, woo.
I love that shit, dude. I love being alone. It's just me and my kid. I love it. Like it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, I love how it turned out. There was some apprehension from both of us on the front end because it was her first time away from the kid, my first time with the kid alone. But by the end of it, I was like, "Yeah, we're good. You can take more trips, whatever you need to do for work." Da, da, da.
No,
But
like I'm saying like that is my shit. Like I'm not gonna say I prefer because I know she's hovering around somewhere,
yeah.
but like I like it. Like we
Because there's no compromise, and so like she can't hear me. Susan never listens to this shit. So like when Susan's here and he eats dinner, it is okay. You ate. Wash your hands. Now we're gonna play some, and then we're gonna change you, and then we're gonna play some more. And then we're gonna read a book, and then we're gonna put on pajamas, and then we're gonna read another book, and then we're gonna get ready for bed. When Daddy's here, whoo, buddy, we ate food. Check. We got changed. We got cleaned up. Check. We got changed. Check. We're in pajamas. Now we can do a little bit of playtime and a little bit of books, and then get ready for bed. Like it's a tight.
no, that's what I'm saying. It's a tight ship, but it's a fun ship because like we also
it's a great ship.
We like the things that I do with my daughter are very different than the things that my dad,
oh for
her
sure,
grandpa, and my wife and my mom. They're different,
of course,
because what I've realized is I'm doing stuff that I think is going to be pretty enriching. So she and I go out into the yard and do some gardening. And my kid's older than your kid, obviously. She's 7. Yeah. We go into the yard and we do some gardening. She's not going to get that.
He helps us weed sometimes. It's really cute.
Yeah. And that is very cute. But we're going to go out and do some gardening. We're going to go and we're going to cook dinner together, like a real dinner, like from scratch, and make bread and do this. We have a project that's on deck for this weekend because I made a red velvet cake. One of my neighbors, her father passed away. And I made her a red velvet cake. And because of the cake case that I have, cake carrier, I have to cut parts of it off. So I froze those. And my daughter was also asking, so I made strawberry cheesecake ice cream. And so we have a project for this weekend when we get time to where, depending on the weather, obviously, if the weather's fine, they're going to the pool. I'm not in charge of that.
Yeah.
I can tell you what, if I'm home alone with her, I can tell you one place we're not going to go.
The pool.
Yeah. But we're going to make ice cream. We're going to make red velvet ice cream sandwiches. But that's a different thing, a different experience than she would get with my wife, than she would get with my mom and dad. So I think that there is such a great value to the different experiences.
Okay, you just took over my podcast because now I got to rearrange what I was going to talk about, because what you talked about just now feeds into what I want to talk about conversation about youth sports. Because you and I talked about this for years,
dude.
So let me take it. The way I was going to get here is we were going to talk about inside the NBA and how athletes are doing this thing where we're talking on the internet, which is wild to me.
Dude, so we can start there if you want.
Let's start there.
I think it's fucking bullshit, personally. You didn't even have to lead me in and tell me what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, out the mud and all these other.
No, honest to God, that wasn't the example I was going to go
But with. Like, do they realize that they're the ones that are doing this?
Felder, you know what gets me? I don't know if you saw. I don't know if I sent you this or not. So LeBron has a podcast called More Than a Game.
Yeah.
And last year it was him and JJ, and this year it's him and Steve Nash. And they just had Luka Doncic on. They're talking about basketball, talking about some of the things we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But one of the things they did was they put out a social clip of Brian Windhorst talking about, if they're talking X's O's, no one's going to listen. And then it's a bunch of YouTube comments about people doubting if it's going to work. And then they put up at the back end of the short, it says, trending, number 8 in the world, number 9 in the world. We can't hear him now. And I'm like, LeBron James, the man who single-handedly destroyed a 72-win Warriors team, the man who has 4 NBA titles, the man who has a very good case to be the greatest of all time, is now in this petty content brain of, look at me in my number 9 trending ranking. It's broken, people. What is happening here? He's the greatest of all time. You talking about podcast rankings? The fuck is going on?
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, I don't
get it.
I don't get it. like, and I guess maybe for me, like, as someone who does do podcasts,
Yeah.
like, I don't need to be the best podcast in the world or the highest ranking show in the world. Like, I know that, like, from a TV standpoint, inside the NBA, the guys on TNT, NBA on TNT, I know that that's like the best basketball show, and we will be sad to see it go. And
Transform, whatever it's going to be at ESPN.
sure, and all this stuff, but like, what I really like, and I'll say this, what I like is that there's a humongous difference between, and I think you'll agree with me. There's a humongous difference between cultivating a group of people that will go to bat for you no matter what, and just trying to get as many like people half listening because they saw a clip on Instagram. And I think those are two different things. Like I do Hand in the Dirt. It's a gardening podcast about football, right?
Really, it's a lifestyle podcast.
And really, it is a lifestyle podcast. And I do that show. And I love doing that show. And I love doing it with those two guys. And I love when you come on. And I love when Holly comes on. And I love when all these other people come on. We're not for everyone. I don't think we should be making content for everyone. And I think that's something that people don't realize. Like, we're in the middle. I'm in the middle of a 10 Rambler Yeti run that just say, hit D, let's grow. 10. I got 10 of them. They cost $300. And so 10 for 3, we can do the math. I got to ship them out. So I'm selling them for 60. My wife does not believe in me. She doesn't think people are going to buy them for 60. I have 5 orders already. And obviously when this comes out, I'm sure somebody else is going to drop in, but I'm selling them for 60. I just got the boxes delivered from Amazon. So, but it's those folks, like we had someone come from Ohio to go to a live show in Raleigh.
Yeah.
That we did. And we're entertaining the idea of doing more live shows, but it's one of these things where when you see these shows, it's not that they feel fake, because like I like, what is it, 520 with Jeff Teague? Like
Jeff Teague is the greatest storyteller in history of America.
He's telling great stories.
He's Mark Twain. I love Jeff Teague.
He's telling great stories, real stories, and I'm glad that they're getting out there. But like that one feels way more real.
Yeah.
Than some sort of a content farm, like you mentioned with LeBron's. Like it's just Gil. I don't know how I feel about Gil's Arena, and so it's interesting to me. Like you guys already made $100 million.
So you made a fantastic point about the intimacy of what podcasting not used to. I don't want to sound like old man on the hill, what it used to be, but like I've done the MTR thing for about 13 years now. I've been fortunate enough to do live shows. Travel across this country, meet people, listen to our podcasts. My first experience doing a live show, I'm standing outside. I've told the story. I don't know if I've told you, but I've told the story on the podcast before. I'm in the lobby of the hotel in DC. I'm with my mother and my wife, or my now wife, and we were going to go on a tour of the National Mall and some other stuff. So we're eating a little coffee in the little company breakfast. I'm talking to them, and somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, are you D-Palm?" Keep in mind, this is before podcasts had video components.
Right.
So he goes, "Excuse me, are you D-Palm?" I go, "That's wild. Yes, I am." He goes, "I recognized your voice. I'm in town for the live show. Can't wait to see you guys tonight." And that was it. I go to the live show, and there's this big dude sitting in the hallway, and I'm like, "What's up, big man?" He's like, and he breaks out. I'm not going to do an Australian accent, but he talks to me, and he tells me that he loves our shows, and that he came to America for a 2-week trip. And part of that trip was to see us do this live.
Right. It's just a different thing. Like it's just
shout out to Wonga. That's why I get all my Australian downloads. Shout out to Josh Wong. But
like that's the reality. Like we did the live show in Raleigh and folks were like excited. It wasn't like an autograph fest
I did fucking full cast live and people thought I was you.
Yeah.
I forgot about the server was there. I'm talking to the server like, "Oh, it must be Felder." I'm like, "No, it's not.
No, it's not. We don't all look alike. I promise you.
Look alike, I promise." But
his beard is way bigger.
way bigger. I brought this up because one of the conversations on the LeBron, Luka, Steve Nash podcast was about the diversification versus specialization in youth sports. And you and I can talk about this through experience, through what we've seen and learned. Because LeBron was very much like, I didn't have a basketball trainer until my second year in the league.
Right.
And he talked about how much the pickup game and street ball and like 21 and like things like that helped you develop how to work in traffic and things of that nature and how to get your own when you have to. And so I want to ask you, as someone who's in this space, who goes to the developmental camps and sees these kids as they're becoming who they're going to be, do you see, because it's always been my pet belief that the more things you can do, the better you are at the thing you eventually specialize at.
So I think I agree with that for sure.
Okay.
I also don't think it's bad to have a trainer. And that's why I brought up Out the Mud, because they were trying to hate that all these guys have trainers now and they don't play pickup and they don't do open runs, which good and bad. Like, you're not learning fundamentals when you're there. You're just trying to survive and stay on the court. As someone, I've done it. Like, I'm not a basketball player, but I've done open runs, and we used to go to Woolen and hoop up. And I can tell you what, there is nothing like a sophomore who thinks he's the same size as you when you're a football player and you guys man up on each other, and then you put your shoulder in his chest and he's like, hang on, man. That's a foul. I was like, that's a foul? I have the ball. But no, I think there's multitudes here, right? So let's go through these tiers of this. Since I'm in my tiers area.
Your tier, please.
I think the more basketball that you play, the better. Just sticking to basketball for right now. The more basketball you play, the more basketball you play, the better. I also think that we're in a world where personal, like, not just personal, but like specialization feels like the norm at this point.
Right.
Which I don't agree with it on a multitude of things. One, I think it prices people out, which is that's my biggest issue with it, is it pricing people out.
Yeah.
The other part is repetitive use on your muscles, which leads to injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then, can I just say, are we dealing with a league that's going to be filled with Nepo babies?
Maybe, but
Carlos Boozer has 2 of the top 25 players in the class.
And then you go back and you say, how many of these kids actually pan out to NBA players?
And that's the other side of the coin, right? Where it's like, do they have what it takes to, as you say, get it out the mud? Like, do they have what it takes to be Tony Allen? Do they have what it takes to be Lou Will? Do they have what it takes to be that guy? And that's the part that I think that's what they're trying to get to. I don't think that they do a good enough job of articulating that point. And that's what makes it hard. And then you throw in the Euros, and their training is completely different than our training. We have guys like that. Like, we have guys like the Ant-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing athlete, tremendous. Who's a better player, Anthony Edwards or Luka Doncic?
The answer is Luka.
Okay. Right. This is a dude that drinks beer on the week. He drinks beer every day. He got a body that's built like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Time out. Allegedly, this is not from Lucas. This is from people in LA who know these things, who are smarter than me. He's 2-a-day workouts right now. Like, the LeBron effect is real.
Sure.
Like, he's gotten the shame or whatever. We'll see how it pans out. I don't believe it. I just want to let you know what us telling these jokes is not lost on the.
I don't feel bad about anything that I just said.
No, it's all accurate. Man loves Luka and beer. A very relatable set of.
I get it. But what he does have, and this is the part to me where when people complain about the American basketball experience, what they don't realize is in Europe, everybody does everything.
Mm.
Like, Dirk practiced the same exact way as a guy that a 7'1" Dirk practiced the exact same practice of a guy who was 5'10" that never made it to the NBA. They did all the
Never
same
made,
drills.
never made EuroLeague. Never made it to Series
They-
A. Like you same idea. Yeah.
They do all the same stuff here, and I'm sure you experienced this. But here, if you are 6'4" when you're 13, they put you on the low block,
Put your ass in the post.
and that's all you do. So you never really learn how to dribble, or at least
So
dribble against competition.
What's interesting is that that's shifted kind of in the basketball mindset because you look at the outcomes of guys like Cat and guys like
Very
Zion.
slowly, very
Well,
slowly.
it's not a sea change, but you're seeing the successes, and also I think that part of what the paradigm shift that's lost in those guys who claim that you got to have the XYZ, the struggle to have to make the league. There's a paradigm shift in what's being required of players on the court. So when we were coming up, you could have one or two players who were offensive liabilities. Ben Wallace could not start in the NBA today. He couldn't do it. Dennis Rodman could not start in the NBA today. He could not do it. However, we're seeing a pendulum swing where the Knicks just lost a series because two of their starters couldn't stop you and me on a fast break.
Dude, they were
atrocious.
I was talking to my dad, and my dad and I were watching the game like over the phone.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Jalen Brunson. And I was like,
of course.
This man, why don't you stop the ball? Like, I'm not an expert at basketball, but if they come down, you have a primary and you have a secondary break. If you're a defender, the goal is to stop the ball, make them pass, make them do something, and then you can get your defense set up. And I can't understand for the life of me. And oh my God, I can hear it in my voice now. I can hear the South coming out. But how do you not stop the ball? How?
The saddest answer is go watch any clip of a loose ball in the playoffs and watch how far Jalen Brunson gets pushed away from that motherfucker. He is too light to fight. He does not like when people say, "You pick on him because he's little." Look, I'm not picking on him because he's little. I know how physics work. There's certain things that he can't do on a basketball court, and one of them is stop the ball.
And the other thing, he can't. If you can't stop the ball, and you're also not fast enough to run with them to the basket, then you're a liability.
My Brunson dilemma of the.
I don't have a dilemma.
This is that dude. Build him a statue. I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
Y'all supposed to be from New York, dog.
They don't. They believe in hype, not truth. Shout out New York.
Bro,
get at me.
Fucking Stephon Marbury could never.
Would never. Georgia Tech University. It's the funniest thing anyone's ever said upon leaving a school. Getting your school's name wrong for the semester you stayed there. I couldn't be happy to have met Starberry at that time.
Dude, you got, because I did talk to my dad about this because we're watching at the same time, and I'm like, you see that? He can't stop the ball.
Okay, so I think that's the one. It's not won't. It is physically he cannot.
He cannot stop the ball.
I'm gonna have Nada on next week to talk about kind of why Thibs why Thibs got fired. But I'll say this: the second he adjusted the lineups in the playoffs, he was fired. Because what it proves is all the previous not moving shit had been obstinates, had been I refuse to. Not that I can't, but I won't. And if you really want to be real about it, Cat got that motherfucker fired twice in 6 years.
Dude, he doesn't want to do anything.
No.
Bro, tall for no reason.
Look, they brought in a bunch of grinders and like Thibs guys, and they were like, all right, cool. And we're going to overpay for Mikal Bridges. All right, cool. He's a grinder. And then they went out and traded for Cat, who could not fit the Thibs persona worse.
He don't want to do. He don't want to do nothing.
Came out after the end of the season, where it's like players are griping about how Cat wasn't rotating, and so sometimes yes, you need another voice. But sometimes it's like these two people don't get along, and you can never have them in the same place, and we just proved it again. No,
he don't want to do nothing. Like I think about this. R.I.P. Big John Felder. I don't know if I've told you this. My parents were teachers, so teachers have teacher work days after the school year.
Mm-hmm.
They do a week of teacher work days after the school year to pack up their classroom, have some professional development, yada, yada, yada. They used to bring my grandpa, who was blind, to Charlotte to watch us No pun intended. Couldn't see it,
Boom.
anything, but yeah. And every day that man would make us get up and do calisthenics. Every day. That's Thibs.
Yeah.
That's Thibs. Every day you wake up, you do calisthenics. Like you do the short work, and then we walk a mile. Like that was like for people that they like my kid's about to have a blast on summer vacation. She's just gonna hang out at the pool and do some swim. My grandpa had us cleaning windowsills. Like we would get up, do calisthenics. He had 3 towels laid out. We would do calisthenics, and then we would walk a mile. We would get a treat because we got to go to the Hardee's, walk back, and then he's like, "Okay, for today, here's what we're gonna do. All these windowsills, we're gonna get those cleaned up." And I'm like,
how old are you? Because I can see Smart Mouth Felder like 14, 15 saying
no. See, 14, 15, 16-year-old Felder had football. So I didn't, that wasn't a me thing. That was, I wasn't in there.
I can see some, how you gonna know? Like I just, how you know how clean they are? Like
no, that's like 8, 9, 10.
Okay, this is too, okay. That's
8, 9, 10. And I don't know if you guys ever clean like the inside of a window box. It sucks. And that's what Thibs wants you to do.
He wants you to do the sucky part.
He wants you to do the sucky part because at the end of the day, it's going to make you better down the road. And it does. It has made me better. Like my grandpa's playing the long game, but they just want to get through the season. And Thibs wants Cat to do all this the small stuff.
And I'm going to talk about this on Monday with Nana. This is not that NBA. You cannot coach like that in this NBA. That's not what this is. Because, dog, everywhere he's been, he burns bridges and wears people out. Everywhere. Not like this is, you know where his shit would play? You know where his shit would play? In a college.
Yeah.
Where no one's gonna deal with your shit for more than 4 years.
But I just think it's now I do sound like the out the mud guys because I
sound like a football player. You sound like
that's a great point. Yeah.
We are football players. We're
football players.
And I have to remove myself because one man on a football team can change your game. One man on a basketball team can change your franchise. And so it is a different paradigm of communication when you're dealing with NBA players.
Yes, that's a great point.
And especially if you're dealing with it as a dude who's never won a chip. It's one thing if I'm Rick Carlisle to be like, hey, we doing this shit. Rick Carlisle used to tell Jason Kidd what plays to run.
Yeah.
You know how fucking crazy that is?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And look.
And everywhere Rick Carlisle's gone, it's ended poorly. It's ended with, they got sick of my ass, so I'm out.
Come on, baby.
Explain why I'm laughing, because I'm still laughing.
Because I just pulled out the Air Zoom 95 Jason Kidd shoes. Fresh out the box, baby. These things have only been worn twice.
Pulled them out, reached barely off screen and grabbed them joints.
They're part of my setup for work.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I don't know why.
Yeah, dude. I got these from Korea.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
They haven't come out in America since '95.
Jason Kidd diversifying his money, keeping his shit overseas.
Bro, I'm telling you.
But no, if you look at the Jason Kidd oeuvre, he was drafted by Dallas, ended poorly in Dallas. He ends up moving around.
He did not do poorly in Dallas, just for the as a
it ended poorly.
Everywhere
he goes, it ends poorly, is my point.
Yeah, for sure. And I love him, though.
And there was a point in Dallas when he and Rick Carlisle got into it, and the Mavericks chose Carlisle over. Because anyway, that's a whole other thing. It's a whole, like, we can go very long talk about what happened after that title and Mark Cuban trying to bottom that thing out. But I will say this.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to JJ Barea.
It'll be very interesting, like exceedingly interesting to see who they hire. Because, again, we are football players, so we're like, yo, crack that whip, without the mud dudes. Those are largely football players who are like, da-da-da. Basketball,
but it's also guys like Tony Allen who like had to like grind to like be able to do stuff.
But I think that to intimate that these kids today aren't grinding is a
They're
fallacy
grinding in a
because
different way.
the grind looks different. The grind looks
Yes.
different.
You and I've talked about this.
Yeah,
because
that's part of the problem. When people hated on Dwight Howard, it was like, why is he smiling during games? Because he busts people's asses in practice. And so by the time he gets to games, he's blocking your shit 7 times. That's fun for him.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is I think they grind different. We talked about this, the proliferation of information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it doesn't always we've kind of settled in on this idea of like personal trainers and travel ball and all this stuff that kind of prices people out of the market. But the biggest instance that I've seen with respect to the proliferation of information is Tua Tagovailoa.
Mm-hmm.
Kid was a bruiser. When I saw him I guess it was the end of January, start of February, when I saw him then in 2016, I believe. He was in the words of Trent Dilfer, he was a butcher, not a surgeon. And he went home, and in Hawaii, they don't have personal trainers. Like, they don't have QB coaches. They don't have a Quincy Avery, who, by the way, has a new series on Hulu, I believe. They don't have that. Yeah. Oh, I love Quincy.
Yeah.
He and I used to fight over Delta upgrades. But so I spent like 33 weeks out of the year with him.
Yeah.
But the point being, they don't have that there. So what did Tua do? Because what did Tua do that we could not do when we were growing up?
YouTube, baby.
YouTube. Yes.
Didn't exist.
These kids, it's not just their parents are, and I'll say, I have no problem saying it. Their parents aren't just overspending. These kids, the ones that actually make it, the kids that actually show up, the kids that make good, the kids that do well, that aren't, sons, daughters of famous athletes, rich people.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids still have access because everybody's got a computer in their hand, right? And there are so many free resources. And I think that's the part that, for me, I think that part bothers people because they're not just playing pickup. But if a kid goes out and works on his shot form, I don't care if it's in his driveway, I don't care if it's at the Y, I don't care where it is. But if he goes out and he works on his form like that, he doesn't have to crawl across the ground to have it.
I would hazard to say Tony Allen has more in common with Klay Thompson, son of an NBA player, than he thinks he does.
Right.
As far as mentality and approach to the game. And another thing is, I love what you're saying here because it ties into something else I want to talk about.
Sure.
The adoption of there's only one way to do this. And I think Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, by being a Jordan clone, proliferated this, especially in basketball.
100%.
Other team sports is different, but you ain't gonna like me, but if you follow me, we gonna win. Well, that doesn't work in household. It doesn't work anywhere, honestly. It works if you're a sociopath. But I like the fact that if you look at the NBA Finals, it's that Thunder team's a bunch of fucking friends.
Yeah,
they do. They do all the cute. We do post-game interviews together. Indiana, same shit. They all seem to like each other.
I think that's another part of our current world of sport, that people that are our age, a little bit younger maybe, but and obviously older, I think it's a part of sport that they do not understand. But put it this way, you and I went on some of the same visits.
Mm-hmm.
There was no doubt that we were in a building at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
I did not know you.
Nope.
We did not talk.
Nope.
We met decade and a half later,
which is crazy, and
realized, I was at the UNC UVA game, and I was like, yeah, me too. But what's happening and what people don't realize, I don't care if it's TikTok, Instagram, it doesn't matter what it is. These kids know each other.
Dog, Huddle is a social network.
Huddle, yes. Instagram, yes. We're seeing these kids, they know each other in between the regional camps, the social media, even just having a cell phone that has Remember, we used to have to wait the free nights and weekends.
Nights and weekends, baby.
And text messages cost like 5 cents. And our parents were not paying. Our parents were not paying for that.
Do you realize there's someone listening? Like, what do you mean you had to pay for text messages? Like, that's
Yeah.
a real moment for someone who heard this who's a young person.
Yeah, text messages used to cost money. You get 100 a month, and then everything over that 100 was like 5 cents, 10 cents, whatever it was.
And them shits add up.
And it does add up. It adds up. But what I'm saying is these kids, there's a kid in California texting a kid in Florida right now. There's a kid in Texas texting a kid in Ohio right now.
No,
hey, man, should we?
No, they're not even texting. They're on Call of Duty playing live together.
Well, I didn't even bring that up.
I know. Like, I'm saying, like, yo, we're by saying texting, we're aging ourselves out of the conversation. Like, there are so many different ways for these kids to connect, to build relationships. To like, hey, we're going here to fix this up. Or like, man, how much money did you get from them? Or what? Like, you know what people are saying. Like, that's why I came back from recruiting trips.
They're friends.
They're friends.
Like, you can be someone who lives in Atlanta, who you go to a camp, you meet a kid, you like his vibe. Okay, it's all vibes, 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 vibes. I know that's a cool word to say, right? You know that this kid is not Skibbity, Ohio. You know, he's got Riz.
I hate the fact that you know what these words are. I think you're using them properly. Honestly,
I am using 100%. I'm using them properly because I got into a whole argument with one of my neighbor kids, and I was like, "Oh, do you think that I have no Riz?" And she was like, "You have no Riz." And I was like, "Okay, first of all, you're Skibbity, Ohio." And she was like, "That's mean." And I was like, "Well, you told me I have no Riz. I think that's also pretty mean." But these kids, like, you go to a camp, right? Kids got Riz. You know, again, he's not Skibbity, Ohio. So you get his number, or you don't even get his phone number. You're right. You follow each other on social.
Gamer tags,
follow each other on social. And on a Tuesday, what day is today? Thursday? On a Thursday I can't even see it. Thursday at 3, you guys are both just got home from school. Hey, what do you think about that new move they made? What do you think about Coach Belichick? I'm thinking about going there, player. Yeah, you think about going there? Yeah. I was like, he's like, tell him to call me up. If you go, I'll go. And it's like
an unpaid sales force.
And then when you get to the NBA, it's even, you have more money than God.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
And these don't party.
That's the other part. If we're being honest, these dudes is mad losers.
No.
Except for James Harden.
James Harden, he's done all the partying for an entire generation. He's like, I will carry the strip club flag and play. Whenever James Harden makes his way to Atlanta for that final contract, he gonna tear this motherfucker up.
Like these dudes don't go out. They don't go out. They don't party. They're not doing cocaine. We should be celebrating them.
Yeah,
because they're all straight edge.
These are the good kids. The good kids won.
The good kids won. The meek have inherited the earth.
I hate you.
But like, seriously, like, these are good kids. Like, they're good. Like, what's the last like scandal we've had in basketball?
The last one we had is J.R. Smith celebrating that entire offseason without a shirt.
Sure, he drinks Hennessy. You know what he did?
But that's not a scandal.
That's not a scandal. It's just like a thing. And then you know what he did? This man went and built a golf complex at North Carolina A&T.
I was like, hey, you can't even fuck with J.R. Smith because all he did was take his money and build himself a golf complex at an HBCU.
Yeah. And go get his, like, these kids are good. Like, this is not Dallas Cowboys, the White House.
Dog, this isn't even the Jailblazers.
This isn't the Jailblazers. This isn't the Bad Boys. This isn't Michael Jordan drinking beer and smoking cigars and playing 36 holes of golf.
The FCA took over the NBA.
Like, this is wild. These dudes are like super, like, why are you upset that they like each other? Can you imagine if you go to work every single day? Like, hang on. I can't imagine going to work every day and hating most of your coworkers. I get that. But can you imagine if you got to go to work and you liked all of them?
Wouldn't that make work better?
Wouldn't it make work better? And in the words of Nikola Jokic, it is a job. Most everyone hates their job. Some people say they don't. They're lying.
The realest man in America. Before I get you out of here, I want to ask you one question. Mina Kimes, shout out to Mina Kimes. She put up a tweet, a skeet. I'm not calling them skeets. She put up a blue sky post yesterday that made me think of you. I want to ask you a question. So the post is from June 4th, about 6 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Starting a Scared Straight style program where pro athletes visit high schools across America to make parents realize their kids have no chance.
Oh, I saw that. And yeah.
Name your price, Mina. I'd watch it all. And because two things I want to say. One, the point of sports as a child is not to go pro. You can have the dream. The point of childhood.
I understand what you're saying.
Is not to go pro. The point is to develop character, develop ability to push through things. There's a lot of things you can learn from sports that aren't, hey, now I'm the point guard of the Nets. Two,
No.
The parents are the ones who need to be reminded of this.
Yes, they do.
And I'll tell you right now, my football teammates from college are my best friends in the universe.
Same.
I call them today for the things if something really happened, I got like four dudes who I played with, who I would call. The guys I wrestled with in high school, literally when my family was in trouble, God, 10 years ago, I was living in Philadelphia. My father was sick. One of my high school wrestling teammates brought my mother meals every night.
Yeah. Like that's what sports is.
That's what sports is for. But how much would you first question is how much would you pay to watch this?
Unlimited money. Just specifically just to see parents be like, yeah, but because there'll be a lot of yeah, but.
Yeah, a lot of yeah buts. Kids are taking HGH.
That's wild.
It's so crazy to me. I didn't know this week. Kids are taking HGH and injecting each other to get bigger, faster, and stronger in high school. That's crazy to me. But I wanted to ask you this, Felder, before we got out of here. What was the moment you knew you'd go pro in something other than sports?
When my teammate called me a Toyota Celica.
What level of athletics was this?
This is in college.
Oh, see, I found out in high school.
No, he in college, he was like, I'll never forget. It was Jacoby Watkins. Shout out Jacoby. He had a cup of coffee in the NFL, but we were doing something, and he goes, and he's from Scotland County, from Laurinburg, North Carolina. He said, Felder, hey, man, let me tell you. He sounded like Xavier Leggett. Like a little dial back, but pretty close. And he's like, hey, man, him and Kareem Taylor. Kareem was from Virginia. He said, hey, man, let me tell you, dog, like, you see Fast and Furious? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you are a Toyota Celica trying to run out here with these Ferraris.
And that was when you knew?
And I was like, God damn. Can you imagine telling someone that? Can you imagine hearing that about yourself?
So, to answer your question, yes, I can. So, I'm glad you asked. So, I figured out twice I wasn't going to play in the NFL. The first time was junior year. I was on recruit. I was taking my mom and I did like a loop through the Southeast of going to colleges and places. And I was academic too, so I was looking at academics and all this shit. I was down in Miami, went down to Miami, and I had an academic scholarship there. And I went and talked to Coach Larry Coker.
Yeah.
I remember being in his office. He had the glass overlooking the practice field. And we sat down and he talked to me for a minute. And my mom, it was just me and him. He's talking about like high school experience, all this stuff. And he goes, I'll be honest, son, you're too short to ever play for us. I'm D-tackle. And I'm like 6'3". I'm like, fuck you, man. But he looks me in the eye and says, but you bring up our team GPA.
Yeah. That's a real one.
Because I had an academic scholarship to Miami, and he was like, you can walk on, bring up team GPA, have a great 4 years. I was like, thank you for the offer, sir.
Yeah.
And next year, no, I guess it was earlier that season. No, it was the next year because I was playing offense. So I didn't play offense junior. Senior year, I'm playing offense, playing left tackle. They call a sting blitz. He gets mugged up front, so the safety ends up coming outside and going through my midline. That safety's name was Greg Blue.
Yeah.
He hit me one time. I was like, oh, that's what an NFL player looks like.
None
of us are doing that. None of us are doing that. And that's when I knew for sure that any NFL dreams I had were pipelines.
So I never had NFL dreams. I just want to play college football.
That honestly, me too. But that was the one where I was like, okay, this is the real. That's a Georgia player. I am not going to be playing at Georgia.
So I guess
Georgia the next year.
I guess I have two of these. So one reaffirmed that like, yeah, you can play college football, and the other one was like, oh shit. So same season, Myers Park. That's where Drake May went to high school. Sort of Dre Bly's kids went to high school. Myers Park, really nice school in the middle, kind of in the heart of Charlotte. Omar Gaither was there. I was a junior, and I was a really good junior. I was like an all-state football player. Like I was good. Like they were picked it off. I picked it off at probably I call it the 17. I'm going out or coming in. They're going out. So I'm close. I mean I'm good. 17. I got 17 yards and I can score.
Yeah, you can smell it.
Picked it off, and I'm in and I'm celebrating. I got the ball like this, like holding it out. And Omar Gaither, this son of a bitch hit me so hard. After I got into, I was already in the end zone, so he cheated. I was already in the end zone. And he hit me, and I went from being in the end zone to the track. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And then he ends up going to Tennessee, plays for the Eagles for a few years.
Yeah.
Then we're playing Butler. My linebacker punches the ball out. I scoop the ball at the 14, the 15. This is them going in.
Yeah.
I got 85 yards.
You gotta wait.
I got 85 yards to go. And then I get and I score. I do score. Don't play me. I do score. But somebody was on my back for the last 5 yards. They were on my back, and I was like, remember the squats, baby. And I just reached the ball out and pounded it. And then I get home that night, and my dad's got the thing on video. And I see where this sucker came from. Kenny Moore, played for the Panthers, played for the Lions.
Shit.
Kenny Moore came from I'm running up the right sideline. This motherfucker's in the back of the left end zone, back left corner of the end zone. And he hawked me, got there, and I just was bigger than him and stronger than him.
Yeah.
And was able to get the ball into the end zone. And then I get over to the sideline, and we don't have oxygen. This ain't college. This is high school.
This is 2002 high school, baby.
Get him some watered down Gatorade. And they're like, all right, kickoff. And I was like, fuck.
You got that? You got the extra point break. That's nice.
I was on extra point team.
What the fuck you doing extra point team?
I was a wing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, your boy stepping. I know how to do the step down so we lock legs.
Tell everyone where they can find you before you're talking about blocking on field goal.
I know how to block on field goal, dog. Don't play me.
I found out you're blocking now. What the fuck? Tell me they can find everything.
I'm gonna tell you one more thing. I only played 2 snaps of offense in high school. 2. Both of them. They're like, Felder, we need you. They were so disappointed in the wide receivers.
Go block.
They were like, go crack. We got it.
Yeah.
We're running a bubble. I need you to go put your helmet through this guy's head. And I was like, yeah, no problem. That's exactly
easy work, light work.
I'm not going to get the ball. I don't want the ball. You kidding me? I get to go hit this guy who's been being terrible to me.
Who's not looking at me? This guy who's not looking at me? I get to hit him? Great.
It's fantastic. Okay, folks, check out itsfelder.substack.com. You guys are also in the know. You're getting information that other people maybe do not have. I have 5 Ramblers left from Yeti. They are $60. They say hit D. Let's grow on them. They are midnight blue. And if you get into my DM somehow, you will be on the list. I am going to start packaging them. So it's truly a limited run, and I'm excited for it. I am not giving any away for free because I did have to pay for them.
Smart man, smart man. Well, Felder, thank you for coming on. We'll be back on Tuesday or maybe Monday, depends on when Nat and I can get everything scheduled.
Yeah. Oh, and they can get a koozie. If you go to the Hit the Etsy store, you can get a koozie. That's easy. And I'm BOGOing those. Those are easy.
BOGO on koozies, full price on the tumblers.
Hell yeah.
Any price break if you get 3?
If you get 3 what?
Tumblers.
3 tumblers, that's $180.
So no. We'll be back on Monday or Tuesday with Nada talking all things NBA. We're going to go over the finals. We're going to brag about us being right about Pacers in 6. The first game is tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. I personally have picked OKC in 5 just because the only way you stop them is to stop Shea. What? Yeah.
I got a swim meet.
He just did the swim meet math. But it's a West Coast game, so they're not tipping till 8:30.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be there.
Oh, because you're there till 10, aren't you? Let me make sure.
I'm there till 10.
This is the part where Daniel checks the schedule for Felder.
I'm gonna get home at halftime.
Yeah, 8:30 tip, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I might bring my laptop. We'll see.
No, bring it. You have to stream it on your phone. You'll find a way to make one. The Clark Atlanta University motto. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back, like I said, early next week. The nerd stuff is coming back. I've heard you. We've heard you. We're working on it. Please believe us. We're all just very busy. But this is a lot of fun. I try to do this twice a week. UD Pod for the discerning sports audience. If you got a friend, a relative, someone you hate who would enjoy our unique take on sports, make sure you share it with them. Like, subscribe, watch, listen. Hit the shit on replay so we get extra views. But that is all we've got this week. That is your show. There is no outro. See you guys early next week. Have a great weekend. Go Pacers, man. We'll see what happens.